Where are we going?
Home Depot.
Why?
It's for some magic.
The Goodwill, the op shop, looking for some outfit choices. And if we can't find any, maybe we'll just rework the dress from She Leapt Off the Page, number 1. G'day everyone!
Hi everybody!
Today we're going to do a bit of a post-shoot, post-photo interview. I think it might be fun. Alright, we've started this a billion times. I'm just going to level with you. Oliver's out in the sink, Bianca's under the table, and we're not stopping this time.
I mean, we are in our creative space, so you can kind of see part of our office, and the cats keep coming in and out, so...
In and out, and I don't want to close the doors because it's going to be hot. No more drama.
No, so if you hear them, welcome to our life.
It's 24/7. It's actually only when Steve's home. But anyway, look, we wanted to talk about the process that we just went through to get to the shoot that we just showed you. So let's just start by saying, hello everyone, I'm James, and this is Steve. This is my husband.
Hi.
You've seen his face pop up before, and you've seen his hands work on a lot of projects, and Steve's actually some of the behind the scenes. Well, he's a lot of behind the scenes of James Leapt Off The Page Creative. He helps with a lot of the decision-making process, and a lot of the time I need photography, I go to Steve because Steve is a professional photographer.
I didn't realize I had so much power. I'm part of the creative brain, creative mind behind James with Burke Creative, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Well, whatever keeps you happy at night, I guess. Look, so Steve is a fantastic photographer, and he has his business, and I've linked it a million times, but I'll link it again below down in the description. That's what YouTubers do, Steve.
That's fine.
We link everything. But yeah, I just wanted to pick Steve's brain a little bit and get him to explain a lot of the process to you, because I'm sick of my voice.
Okay, we're talking about the process.
Yeah, from beginning. So what happened? It was about last week, let's be honest. 2 weeks ago.
No, last week.
Last week.
So literally how this started was we were driving around town, we were running errands, and I said, I really want to do something creative. I had another photo shoot in mind that I wanted to do, and we were trying to piece it together, and so we even went into Home Depot to try to...
It was not a photo shoot, it was a production.
Well, it always is. It's fine. And we tried to find pieces, and so we went to Home Depot, and it just seemed a little... Not that it was overwhelming, it just was a lot for not a lot of payoff.
It's a great idea, but you just need a ton of money and a ton of time.
And I think eventually we'll get there, but...
Steve's ideas start like this, and we have to bring them down to here for where we are at the moment. You know, one day we'll have an unlimited budget and they can stay out here and we can just do anything we want. But he got the creative urge, and when that strikes, you know you need to do something about it. So we said, look, we have to do a shoot, what can we do?
Yeah, so then we were just kind of going through it, and then we had this idea to do like another She Leapt Off the Page. But part of the idea was, how it started was the little thing that I had kind of drawn, the fur coats lady. Yes,
so Steve encourages me to, I've said this on the last video, Steve encourages me to work off the prompts list that we come up with, but sometimes I just feel like it's a little counterintuitive to my day. So Steve wanted to challenge me to do one of the prompts. He stamped out an image and then I finished it. You can see in the last video I go through and I talk about all of that process and how funny it was, because Steve's an awful client. But yeah, so we were looking at that and Steve wanted to make that come to life. I thought, personally, putting together a Christmas tree coat was a bit much.
Well, I mean, no, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
It's always fun for Steve, because Steve doesn't have to sew the whole thing together.
I was going to try. We would just, find a coat from Goodwill and then just take some garland that was 50% off Michael's and just...
But here's the thing, because Steve has refined taste, like champagne taste on a box wine budget, and Steve would not be happy. I already knew it. Steve wouldn't be happy with me hot gluing some plastic Christmas tree fur on a coat.
It would have been fine.
Well, that's how we got onto the list. So we're looking at how the list stole Christmas, we're looking at the prompts list, and we're saying, well, what could we do? We picked Star of Wonder.
Yeah, I thought that might be interesting, and we thought about repurposing the dress that we used in the prior She Leapt Off the Page, and James took some time, as you saw in the video, and he redraped it. And then I went in and I said, hey, let's add a little bit more sparkle and zhuzh, and James was like, no, it's really plain. So it was funny to kind of be on the opposite side of it when he's always really loud and I'm a little bit more on the plain side. And so for us we flipped.
It was weird. But you know what, it was, I think it was in an effort to really condense the idea, really refine everything and get it super tight and in just like a neat little package that we could just photograph and have the project done. But also, putting the time and effort into it. So we contacted a friend, we got her to come over. She's a beautiful makeup artist and she does special effects makeup as well. So I've linked her below as well. Go and check out her work. And yeah, we just had a super fun day playing together, because at the end of the day, that's what we do this for. I mean, it's great to have content and it's great to have the video to show and to share with everyone as kind of an inspirational thing. But even if we weren't sharing it for inspiration, we still do this stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I think the core of it is playing. You know, as adults, we don't often get the time or the chance or the opportunity to keep playing. And so that's what these shoots are about. It's a lot of fun. It's fun to get with your friends and to collaborate and to bounce ideas back and forth. And, you know, every time we're like in the car running errands, it's like, hey, what about this? Or what about that? What about this? What about that? And what's really exciting about it is that it gets those wheels moving, and it inspires more creativity and more and more and more. And before you know it, instead of one idea, you have like 10 ideas.
Yeah. And
then you kind of go from there, and then you reduce it back again, and then you figure out, okay, well, let's focus on this one idea for now. That's Oliver behind us. Yeah.
That's the lamp that he broke.
Yeah.
The other one. So I'm glad that you're up on that one too. If he breaks that one. Yeah, so look, when you've got that creative urge, you have to get it out, and everyone's got a different way of expressing their creativity. Steve loves to take photos and tell stories like that, and I like to draw and paint and, you know, journal, and I think there's nothing wrong with all the worlds colliding and, you know, getting your inspiration from wherever. And I think having a bunch of creative friends and having a bunch of people that are creative around you just really inspires more creativity.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. You know, it's that perpetual motion that you get, and you know, unfortunately, we'll have work priorities and commitments, and I'm lucky that my work coincides with the ability to be creative. But you know, Steve, his outlet, you know, his full-time day job isn't photographer, so you've really got to make time for that kind of stuff. And I think the best piece of advice I would give is just to do it. Don't take yourself too seriously. Like, I mean, it could look like sometimes we take ourselves way too seriously in these shoots, but at the end of the day, we're playing, and we know that at the end.
Right, and the thing is like, there's also, like, there's no real rules as to how you do it, right? So, like, we took a dress that we'd already used before, he redraped it, I said add some sparkle to it. We added sparkle to it. Even I went in and like started adding it with the sequins, and I was getting frustrated with the glue like not really working. But at the end of the day, nobody's really gonna see the glue, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that's really interesting about it is that the belt that she's wearing, there's 2 belts that she's wearing, and one of them was just the tool, and we tied it in a knot.
Yeah, the back looks awful.
The back looks terrible, but you would never know.
No, you
That's
wouldn't.
the thing, and
there's
it's like
so many smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, and that's kind of the fun thing is like, how do you
trick everyone?
Yeah, how do you trick everybody? And that's part of playing, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of the fun and like how interesting it all is.
What I love about it is you may not notice this, but like, I mean, we barely spent any money on this shoot. We were repurposing, recycling, upcycling, whatever you want to call it. But you know, what we did purchase was just so hilarious because like all the little crystals and bits and embellishments were stickers. Like little 3D star stickers from Michaels, and the little crystal, like little shimmery bits on the dress was stickles, little, you know, glitter glue.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do the most. You can completely fudge it. And that's the best part for me. When I first started out, I used to have this fear that, you know, imposter syndrome, that everyone would figure out that I was just faking it. And as you have more success and as you, you know, you have all these projects that you're really proud of and you've been faking it that entire time, you actually start to take a lot of pride in that. And it's actually a really fun thing to think that people are now looking for how I faked it because I've been faking it well. Like, I find that a huge accomplishment.
I guess it's kind of like when you go to Disneyland and you're like, oh, I see the thing that they did there.
Yeah, I know what they did to get that. And you just think, yeah, but that's all it needs to be sometimes. I'm not a master couturier, but I can hand sew and gather some tulle together, and I know that if it's really, really awful, he can fix it in post. And, you know, Steve isn't, you know, Photoshop extraordinaire. He knows the tools that he needs to use to get something right the way it needs to be. And
I mean, I'm probably using the tools wrong, but it works.
But who knows? Because at the end, we have a beautiful collection of photos that I'm super proud of. Are you proud of?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I hope Morgan's proud of them too. This will be the first time Morgan's seeing them.
Yeah.
So I think that it's one of those things where I just want to encourage you to get out and play, collaborate, go and ask anyone that has any kind of creative talent, you know, what they have to share with you, because you could learn a new skill that you have no idea how it might come in useful 2 months down the track or a year from now.
Or it can even also be just as simple as like what we did before with the fur coats thing, where I had an idea, I couldn't execute it to the way that I knew I wanted it to go, and so I sketched it out and I said, hey, can you finish this off? And the thing is that the idea was mine. It wasn't his. But he was able to finish it and fine-tune it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, look, if you get something and, you know, we're not trying to be published, we're not trying to, you know, blow this up into a billboard and put it in Times Square, we're doing it
But it could.
Could it? I don't know. We're just doing it because we want to have fun and play, and so at the end of the day, we've got these great memories. We've got great memories with friends. We've got great memories, you know, when Stella came over for the first time and did the makeup. You build these networks and connections, and I think there's nothing better than having the accessibility to a network of creative people, because you never know when you're going to need them to just, you know, get you out of a rut or inspire you, or they might have a project that you'd be perfect to work with them for. And you know, as a business side, networking is important, but I think just for your own personal creativity, it's probably why we're also drawn to each other on Instagram and social media, because that's, you know, the easiest platform for us to all share and inspire each other in.
Yeah.
And we're doing it all the time. The Burke Makes outlet on Facebook, you're always sharing your tips and tricks and techniques, and I think that's just the same thing, you know? Any final words of advice for anyone out there, maybe photographers or just creative people in general? What would you say?
That it's not that serious. You don't have to be super serious about it. I think there's a difference between understanding and honoring your vision, and then also knowing where you can kind of cut corners a little bit, and to realize that in the end, it's like the pictures aren't going anywhere. They're just, you know what I mean? Like the stakes aren't that high. It's just more for you and for your creative outlet to inspire further creativity.
Yeah, just to get it out. And my advice I want to leave you with is doing anything is better than doing nothing.
Totally. Because you won't know. You don't learn if you don't do anything.
You'll never know. I honestly thought, like, collaborating with Steve at the start of the year on She Leapt Off The Page, when we first started that, I thought this could be a nightmare. I don't know how we work together in this capacity. I know what it was like to help Steve before, and I wasn't signing up for that again. But yeah, I mean, now we're starting to get into a rhythm. We're starting to realize that we really like doing this stuff, and that creative direction is something that we both share in, that's outside of art journaling for me and outside of photography for him. So, you know, creative direction and styling, we're learning new things, grabbing new tools for our tool belt, and I just think it'll serve everyone better in the future.
Yeah, and stay tuned, because there's other ideas that are brewing up.
Apparently only in Steve's head. Alrighty, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everybody.